The girl was forced to squat in a horse stance with both hands pressed against the wall. When the red light came on, she wasn't allowed to rest. Finally, after holding the position for several hours, food and a bedpan were delivered to the door. But before Mary could take more than a few bites, the red light turned on again. Mary obediently returned to her position, but her body had reached its limit. She collapsed weakly onto the ground. Two men immediately burst in. They threatened Mary with a handgun, forcing her to press her hands against the wall. Then they took out nails and cruelly nailed Mary's hands to the wall. After the two men left, Mary used all her strength to pull her hands free, wanting to escape this terrible hell, but there were only sealed windows before her. Mary fainted in despair. When she woke up again, she completely gave up resisting. When the red light came on, she automatically pressed herself against the wall. Then the two men burst in again. They compassionately gave Mary a hug, and Mary had become a puppet at their mercy. The neighbors came to bandage Mary's wounds. Seeing the wounds on the neighbors' palms, Mary finally understood. Everyone had gone through the same brainwashing, but Mary remembered when she first arrived here. The apartment complex was still peaceful, led by the neighbor lady. She attended a welcome party the neighbors threw for her, and even met a boy who made her heart flutter. But that night Mary was awakened by a pungent smell. She discovered someone had turned on her oven. When she opened it, she found her own pet inside. Before Mary could recover from her grief, someone covered her nose and mouth from behind. When she opened her eyes, she was back in the room. Then the apartment manager burst into the room, warning her not to put up any useless resistance. He also brought in a one-eyed neighbor to show Mary the consequences of resistance. The girl could only nod obediently and accept this obedience test. Only after she completely broke down was Mary taken out of the dark building, and the first thing to do to join this community was to confess her private matters to the community. Remembering the torture she'd experienced, Mary could only obediently accept everything. She began reading the community's code of conduct. After a week of hard adaptation, she had memorized the community's rules by heart. To help Mary integrate into the community, the neighbors took her to work at the kindergarten. Mary appeared to obey the manager's arrangements, but while preparing meals, she secretly glanced at a fruit knife nearby. As she slowly reached her hand toward it, a gaze caught her attention. The one-eyed man was slightly shaking his head, warning her not to act impulsively. Seeing that someone hadn't been completely brainwashed, Mary realized she still had a chance to escape.